Oh, I just want to build on your introduction, Maldy. It's great to be back after a nice week off. Feel a lot more refreshed and ready to go, as will we will, as will the drivers as well. A good week off can do a lot of good. I greatly also want to just say I really appreciate the big honour of saying the best Scottish person in the community. I mean, I'm greatly flattered by that. But great to be back in the booth and ready to see how the drivers tackle Hungary. It might make the experience a bit numb in the sense that it kind of does tackle the suspense. I mean, this update was literally only just made available today, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out in in the commentary book. But if it's telling us how many penalties folk have got, then it might kind of ruin the suspense. Because we don't normally keep up with penalties in the bottom left hand side of our screens, so like the suspense that and the entertainment value that we get from not knowing who's going to finish where is kind of being robbed a wee bit. But it makes it easier to kind of track who's got penalties as well. So if people like the surprise, it's kind of been robbed slightly. But people that just kind of like to know who's going to finish where, I feel like that's the update for them mainly. It's I think might be a wee bit early in the session to tell, but if I've seen 13s already, it could be a low 13, maybe even a 12. I don't know if a 12 might be pushing it though, but we definitely will see the times coming down. Oh, and yeah, they would say we see AB Connell already putting a 13.3, so we could maybe see some 1 minute 12s on the board. sorry. I remember when he first came into STB and you kind of gave me the nudge in the shoulder and says this guy's good, he's one to watch, and it's not really kind of clicked for him. It's one of the kind of seasons that just hasn't really kind of got the ball rolling. But I mean, see tracks like Hungary, see like the kind of mid-stage, see tracks like Hungary that don't suit every driver's style, then this is your perfect time to capitalise, especially with the information he just gave us in the interview there. There is going to be rain for the majority of this race, so this is we can get a wee word in with J Danny where he's got a minute. I think he's currently still out on the track, so we'll maybe get him in near the tail end of this session. Matt will help him. We'll get a slipstream into turn 2. It's not too much as he dives it right to the left. It's a long downhill sweeping left-hander turn 2, which is immediately followed by turn 3, which is a small flick of the wheel to the right, up the hill to turn 4. It's a completely blind apex, so you just have to gauge and when to turn in, and you have to try and carry some of the speed in turn 5. Does drift a bit wide through the inside of that curve, also an auto spin curve, so try and avoid it. But we're going into the chicane as well, very high curbs on the apexes there, so we don't want to get too greedy because it'll throw the car out onto the grass. Then it's the left, right through the final sector, well through sector 2 anyway, into the final sector. And we're coming down to turn 13 there, there's a Alpha Tauri there, you'll see just drifting up to turn 13, taking it at third gear. It's quite smooth on the exit as well, quite a smooth traction zone as well, through here, swooping left once again, then it's followed by the final corner, swooping right. You'll see drivers drifting really wide to get the best exit on the start of their flying laps, but on the end of them you'll take the tightest line up to the line. It's a 1:14.0. While that Maldi gets that sorted, we'll have a wee look through the field to see what's happening elsewhere. Oh wait!
Yeah, apparently I can't know what to do now.
It's because I've got the new Xbox and the settings have all went back to the default. And I forgot to click the, because it's never on, but I don't know why it was on when I signed into it there, because it's never on before.
Oh.
So it's a party view thing. So you've not heard Maldi for like the last 10 minutes, unfortunately. So I'll fully take the responsibility there.
Can people hear me now?
Well, here's hoping. Here's hoping, but I've definitely unticked the box. So if you've got your audio box ticked as well, then I definitely feel that should be the case. But just look at it just now, it is currently ABR corner with a 13.0. Hello? You hear me now? Maldi.
Right, it's working now. Sorry, I was just checking on the stream. I just have the stream up. That's the stream up,
no,
right? It's working out. I can hear myself on the Twitch. I can hear myself. Right, okay, that's good. ABR corner, there goes P number 1. There. Oh, sorry viewers, I'm back. Maldi's back. Maldi's here, guys.
Maldi is here once again, and it's my fault that you never heard him for the first 10 minutes. So I'll just express my apologies there for that mishap in communication. But as you were saying, it is ABR Connor on pole position with 13.1, and he is closely followed by Bruno Will. So ABR Connor really making an impact in the early stages of the Hungarian GP weekend, as he currently sits top of the tree. It's just a matter of if he can stay there. I was also on board with VZ there, who we got in for the interview. I don't know if we heard him either, but he came in to tell us that there's going to be some rain, and he was just kind of shedding some light on the race weekend up ahead. But he just currently goes P11, 14-1, which immediately gets towards P12. Now that VCRL Shark is just putting a fast lap there as well to go P10 himself. So we will be getting the drivers coming back in, getting some fresh boots on, and we'll go for the final runs in the next few minutes.
Yes, right, I want to try and get Danny in here, but the thing is, Fritzy, sorry.
Yes.
Viewers are telling me, sorry, that the game volume is quite loud when you're on board with people. Is there
quite loud?
Yeah, is there a way that you can maybe turn that down in the settings of the stream?
Yep, I can give that a quick look at just now.
How about this? Bruno will hear this evening. What do you think the possibility of that is?
The possibility of what, sorry, Murray? I was just fixing the settings there.
He's in. Beating Bruno Will. He needs to do it. Keep that championship alive.
Currently only half a second off Bruno Will's time, and he's 6:10 shy of the pole time, so...
Well, it's 19 more. He's P3.
It is. Oh,
P3
he's upgraded, he's improved.
My favourite driver.
He's improved, yeah.
Joking, guys.
Up into P3. So it's a Renault, Mercedes, Williams, Renault, top 4, Alpha Tauri making the top 5 in the session. But Davison had a really strong race last time out in Silverstone 2 weeks ago.
Sorry, Richard, sorry to interrupt you there. Danny's 2 tenths off on his lap. That's right on board with him in the final sector.
Let's see how he does in the final sector. He's only got the final turn left. He's going to take a really tight line, try and get as close to that wall as you possibly can. Let the car roll.
It is going to be a 4:13, sorry, 0.7. That's P7 there. He has beaten his teammate Mercury. Currently in the pit lane. Kevin's on a lap of 10 foot. Have a look then around the final sector, around the final corner, and he's in the pit lane. For Kevin, Bruno Will was the first person, 1:12 there. That's a 1:12.9, showing his Hamilton-esque driving here in STB to go on. Wow, like that. 1:12.9.
And looking at the leaderboards as we see just now, Maldy, if there's one notable name that I'm seeing as a bit out of place, and it's Jamham, down in 15th for a 14.2.
Yeah, he'll definitely be able to improve that, won't he?
Definitely will be seeing him look to improve on that time and try and get him up roughly where Hamjam, DJ Danny, Mercury sit, that 6th, 7th and 8th area. That's where he normally kind of filters in anyway. He's normally just as quick as the Alfa Romeos and his brother in the Mercedes, so Jamham being down in P15 is a bit out of the ordinary, so to speak, but we definitely should be seeing him improve on these final runs, and hopefully can see him getting propelled back up the grid, because 15th will probably not be the best place to start coming into the race, especially when it's in the adverse conditions that we've been updated on, because it is going to be wet for them for the most of it.
Yes, I forgot about that. Right, Jamham's on that then. The driver that he said was out of place, Rigsy, definitely out of place. He's definitely, you know, I believe, yeah, well, he's had many wins so far this season, Rigsy. He's definitely shown himself this season. He is still in the championship fight, but not, you know, up there as Davison and Bruno will. But he needs to get, you know, into at least that top 10 where he belongs. So we're going to see him ride the curve on the exit there. 26.7.
And it's an improvement by 300ths of a second so far. His brother, they're just getting out the way on there. Hill to turn 6 and 7, the tight chicane, right then a quick left. Yellow flags have been waved, but that's just for behind us. Through turn 8 and 9, sweeping left and right handers here, taking a good bit of the curb on the exit. You don't want to touch the one on entry. The one here does help you through, but run too wide and the lap gets invalidated. He's up by 600. He's up by 600 a second through the final sector. It's not been the biggest improvement, and this will probably be his final opportunity to actually set a representable lap because he's just got shy of a minute left in the session. But is it going to be an improvement for P15? Sorry, as he comes out the final turn. It's up to P9. So he had a really strong.
That's actually disappointing. I'm not going to lie, that's disappointed me for Jamham. You wouldn't expect that.
And he wasn't really improving like on a massive scale everywhere else. So I think he might have maybe made a mistake in the final sector somewhere, because that's where his improvement was the most recognisable, because it was a 0.3 a second improvement through the final sector. So maybe it was just there. That he was having issues very early in the session.
113.7 for Matthew Banter.
As he just slams on the brakes, letting the Williams fly round turn 2. I think that was not Davison, it was the Williams VCRL Shark.
APR Ryan's up on his time. Let's see what he's going to do. It's going to be a 14. It's not straight, it's going to be 13.9. That's P10 there. Jamham still down in he's P11. Yeah. He's not going to be in the top 10 qualifying. Bruno Will has retired from the qualifying session. He crashed it there. But yeah, that is disappointing, Victor.
And yellow flags are being waved just about everywhere as the checkered flag does drop on the session. Jamham only out-qualifying his teammate by 2,000th of a second in P11 and P12, so they were sharing row 6 together on the start. But it is Bruno Will and Connor on the front row, the only two drivers to get into the 112s. So that's really just kind of rubber stamping their pace here at Hungary. Davison on the third row, Hamjam and P4, strong qualifying for him there with a 13.4. Ali Italia and the Alpha Tauri P5. Gravity and Victor McFly's up to P8 there, Maldi, right in saying so there. Gravity's had a really strong qualifying session up into P6. And VCRL Shark, Victor McFly on row 4. And Matty Banter and DJ Danny rounded out the top 10 as Mercury is getting pushed out of the top 10 into P11. Ryan in 12th. Jamham and VZ 13th and 14th. Kevin retired and he starts 15th. Afali, Juninho and Billy WF make up the final 3 places.
14.6, he's down there. Look at that, 4 tenths down on Juninho. That's not very good, but the tier 2 drivers are looking very close at the moment. Kevin with the 14.1, 14.2, 14.2, so he's looking quite close to that tier 2 tomorrow. Some drivers just coming in to lower the place. We've got a bit of a commotion going on down the straight here, Rigsley. We've got the McLaren, the Williams in a minute.
We got your traffic jam into turn 1 with the looks of it.
ADR Connor on his debut, 2nd place. What a qualifier. So then say your grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix is as first is Bruno Will, 2nd on his debut is Connor, 3rd is BR Davison. He's had a great start. 4th is Hamjam, his brother, quite low down here at Hungary. 5th is Ali Italia, 6th is Gravity, 7th is Shark, good effort from him there. He's a tier 2 driver. 8th is Victor McFly, 9th is Matt, 10th is DJ Danny, 11th is Mercury, 12th Ryan, 13th is Jamham, 14th is BC, 15th is Kevin, 16th is LA, 17th is Janina, and 18th is Billy WF. Really have to do that remembering had to do that recall.
Was it sorry, Maddie? I was just quite blindsided there with the rain.
Wow.
Because it's in heavy rain conditions as well.
Welcome to the STB Turkish Grand Prix, Hungarian Grand Prix here. Live from Hungaroring. Rixie, it's raining. Now, there is a driver on this grid, Rixie, as Jamham has unfortunately lagged out the session. Trying to get him in. There's a driver on this grid, Rixie, that's very good in the rain. Bruno Will. Do you think this could be the victory for Bruno Will?
It's a very long race, 35 laps in the Hungaroring. But he is on pole position, so he's in the best possible seat he's on the best seat in the grid. So if he can get like a clean getaway, try and reduce the amount of wheel spin that he gets off the line, especially in these conditions. If ABR Connor doesn't get a strong start, Bruno Will gets a clean run into turn 1, we could definitely see it. But because the nature of the track is so tight, twisty and technical, it's the free T's, and overtaking is very limited, we could really see drivers being truly challenged here in these conditions. And they'll definitely, as they say in the real life, they'll get their money's worth. Their own intermediates, even though it does look to be full rain at inters that I'm seeing.
Is anyone gone for the gamble onto a set of wets? No, they haven't. Yeah, it does look all wet to me. I'm not going to lie, it does look quite wet.
I'm just riding on board with some of the drivers, and it's going to be quite tough. It's going to be quite challenging as VCRL Sharks finding it a hard way there as he's already into the arm coat and they run into turn 2 and trying to get some heat into the tyres. So conditions really already proving tricky in the formation lap. And Billy's a long way back at the back of the field.
Yeah, he was struggling. In qualifying. He needs to try and catch up to the back, otherwise he will pick up a penalty. Not for doing formation lap rules. And you've got to keep off, I believe it's 2 car length to the driver in front of you. So that's important. But yeah, it is going to be. I reckon this could actually be a Grand Prix. I think we've got a great race on now, ahead of us here in Hungary.
Definitely got the ingredients for it. One big benefit that Bruno will have, more than anybody else, is the fact that he's got clear track ahead of him. So he's going to be kicking up spray for everybody else in the traffic jam behind. So he's going to have clear visibility, whereas everybody else is going to struggle. So that can play a big advantage as well.
Personally, Rixie, sorry, I'm expecting big things from DJ Danny from P10.
He's definitely hyped up the wet weather, so he'll probably be one to watch in the race as they all make their way back to the grid.
And Bruno Will is going to take that top, that first place spot. Second is going to be Connor on his debut. Could this be a maiden victory on his debut and cause upset in that championship battle? Oh, here we go. Billy then. Rixie, who's going to win in Hungary?
I think Connor could do it.
Well, I reckon Bruno will. Okay, then we're going to wait for the lights to go out, but we're waiting for them to light up on the gantry here in Hungary. Here we go then, Rixie. It's 4 lights, it's 5 lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix live from Budapest. Lights lights and away they go. Great start there for Bruno Will. He's already got off the start. It's a bit laggy. Because now it looks like Ale has took the lead, but he hasn't. He's standing like P7. But we've got Bruno Will then down in turn 1. Side by side, it's very glitchy, Rixie. I don't know what this update's done, but I have no idea what's happening.
I've no idea either, but everybody seems to make it through turn 1 cleanly as Bruno Will does keep the lead, and Connors went down 2 places. Dawson and Hamjam from the second row both getting really strong starts.
I can't see anything. It's so glitched right now. It says DJ Danny's going to lead.
Aye, the leaderboards still have to be able to fix themselves on the restart, but I think that's kind of it. Oh!
Right, what's happening down at the back? Sorry, viewers, it's very difficult to give you the action here in Hungary because the leaderboards are still not fixed by Codemasters. Anyway, we've got Janino inside of Ale Italia, but he can't get there to take Johnny's down there now. He's 13th, but Ritzy first is Bruno Will taking his damage in. He needs to, get a hurry on now here in Hungary. But Ritzy, what are you seeing at the back? What's happening in midfield?
I'm on board with ABR Ryan, and if there's one big noticeable change of position that I can see is Billy WF, who did start last, already up 4 places into P15, so Billy really on the charge. Kevin's went backwards, Jamhams went backwards, and I think that's just due to his AI taking control of the start, as everybody is still really bunched up and close together on the end of the first lap, and ABR Ryan really looking to try and make the place on Janino. But I feel like this could just be a matter of having one big continuous DRS train, no DRS in the wet rigs, But
LA is in the pit lane, sorry. LA's in the pits. Yeah, it's going to be a slipstream track race. I think that's what we mean here in Hungary.
aye.
Obviously, there's not many overtaking spots for anyway in the dry around this track, let alone in the wet. So, but yeah, it's definitely a day apart. So I don't think we'll be seeing many overtakes. Just the drivers can't let that dirty air affect them too much.
Definitely no. I think it might be merely a matter of actually keeping it on the road. If you can push your opponent into making a mistake, that's the only way you'll make any gains. Either that or by a very bold pit strategy as well. I feel like they're the only real ways to gain. So once the drivers kind of get settled into the race, find their rhythm, we can definitely see some action up and down the field, but it is just looking to be a matter of being one big train at this point.
So Davi's in Big Z is catching Bruno World at the moment. He's kept that gap to 4 tenths, and looks like he's looking like he's the quicker guy Riggs at the moment.
Definitely, Davison taking a tighter line through turn 14, whereas Bruno Bell's letting the car run wide, and that's going to allow him for a better exit. So Davison's taking tighter lines through some of these turns, and that's the fastest lap there for the Williams driver there as well. And both of them already pulling away for Hamjam. So Hamjam really no up to speed just in this stage, but 1.5 seconds splitting the top two for Hamjam. Connor keeping Hamjam for close company in P4. Victor McFly P5 as well. I'll get the position changes up so we can see who's gained and lost, the big winners and losers. As we see, Billy McLaren's day really couldn't get any worse at this point, as both of them will be running the last 17th and 18th in the field. But looking at the position changes, we've got Victor McFly's up 3 places, Matty Banter, DJ Danny both up 1, VZ's up 4, Janino's also up 4, and
no one on penalties at the moment.
And nobody's on penalties just yet in this early stage. Oh, it does actually tell you penalties. We can keep the penalty option hidden, so we don't really need to share that information with them unless they absolutely want to know who's got what penalty.
I suppose so. I'll keep them on. But anyway, we see everything then. There's not really much to talk about so far, so the drivers are just trying to follow each other, just trying to stay calm in these open stages, trying to find those wet lines, the intermediates, can't get too cold. Yeah, you got to make sure that you are staying in the wet. It looks like the race will be back for the majority of the time. The drivers will put that in dry lines for me.
Definitely, you can already see that there is a main dry line forming on the track, but you'll start to see as the track dries up, as the racing line dries up, you'll see drivers opting to drift wide and onto the marbles where there's fresh, clean water on the track, and that's going to be used to keep the tyres cool. Because if you're going to run them on a drier track, the intermediates, they tend to burn up, and the grip isn't as significant as it is when it's driving across puddles and wet patches. So you might see some drivers drifting out of the slipstream and dirty air just to cool down the tyres, or maybe even shape up a move, because when it comes to wet weather driving, it is more along the lines of the traditional go-karting. Lines that they tend to take, with the wider lines and tighter entries into certain turns, what we saw like Davison a few laps ago, and at the final turn when he was right up behind Bruno Will. So there is going to be a diverse route per se. Like, we're going to see different lines through different turns, so it really is just a matter of the drivers trying to find the quickest way around a certain turn, and I feel like that could definitely shape up any real opportunity that they might have. And just to bust my own bubble, Maldi, but Alitalia does have a penalty, and whether you've got the penalty option up or no, it does just tell you they've got a penalty, so you can't really hide it. So let me just see the penalty option anyway. It says right, okay, right, I can check penalties. See, when you go to the penalties bit, it will tell you what their penalty status is, so like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 8 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. It'll tell you how many they've got, but when you've got just the tyres up, it just has the wee black and white flag to say that they've had a penalty. and it doesn't tell you how many seconds I've got, so that's going to be quite interesting.
Okay. But I will keep up the seconds option because I want to know. But LA has retired from the Grand Prix. Had enough for him to say time is up here in Hungary. Takes a free yellow flag, so I think that he's going to the pit lane. He'll be able to better race and to get to tomorrow. That it looks like he has lost a bit of time recently to Will here. That now up to 5 tenths, 6 tenths. So I don't think he's completely think about it.
Definitely, both of them are still lapping quicker than Hamjam though, as he's slowly just kind of losing touch with the front two. But Connor's not really looking exactly quick either. Like, he's not looking like he's going to be making any moves into turn 1 or turn 4 anytime soon, so I think he might just be quite content sitting behind Hamjam, both of them lapping at a very similar pace. Victor McFly as well, keeping in touch, and then it's a 2.3 second gap to Gravity as well, so you've got a group of 2, group of 3, group of 4, and then everybody else is just kind of spaced out the tiniest wee bit in between Faye P10 down to the back of the field.
Yes, definitely. Danny then hasn't really been able to make any inroads on Matty here, but Sharp's gone wide. Rick said he's going to give Matt the opportunity, and he's got the overtake E7 for Matty, and now Danny's going to be behind this group as well, so it's going to really kick it off here in Hungary City. But yes, Matt gets the position. E7 for the racing point.
And that's the kind of thing that we'll be expecting to see for the drivers, Maldy, just having to push your opponent into a mistake and having to capitalise on it when it's there. DJ Danny is just he's as you were saying, he's not really made up the most ground, but once he gets by VCRL Shark, whenever that's going to be, I think it might be a matter of when rather than if for the Alfa Romeo. VCRL Shark looked a bit sketchy on the formation lap, and it might look to be the same again in racing conditions, so we could see DJ Danny shaping up on a move here, but Matty Banter, they're kind of looking to be the cork in the bottle, so to speak, as well, because he's not really pulling away from his VCRL Shark either, so this is just a wee train of free starting to form while Gravity's getting away down the road.
And there, he's going to try for another takedown. He's going to go for the inside line. He's going to do it. He's going to do a Ricardo move off the inside of the first corner. It's side by side, up down into turn number 2 now. Side by side, bit of overtake there for Danny. Side by side again. Oh, here we go around the outside. Oh, shot there. Pushes him wide a little bit. Danny's still there. No, can't get past him. Very difficult to overtake around this Hungaro ring.
That was really close battle now between the pair of them there. DJ Danny decided to go for a late and up the inside into turn 1, late on the brakes, confident on the brakes. That's the key word there. He was really confident in getting that car slowed down, gave Shark the respect on the outside, and Shark doing everything and his racecraft skills there to keep him behind. He's got a good repertoire there and good skills there to keep DJ Danny behind, but that's just really showing that it's not so much impatience with DJ Danny, but more creativity now that he's going to have to try and push Shark into mistakes to get past.
Well, maybe if Danny can get a good exit out of that final corner, he could be on the inside of him on turn 1 again. So it's going to be an interesting little spectacle down this straight on that 9.
We'll ride on board with him again, Maldy, just to see how close he gets this time. But Shark's going to have slipstream for Matt in front. DJ Danny is using his ERS. Is he going to go for a late and up the inside again? I think he does look a bit too far back for it here into turn 1 this time around. But maybe turn 2 or turn 4 could be an option. Depends what his run's like out of turn 2 if he wants to have a wee lock into turn 4.
Have a look. Made a bit of a mistake there around the corner, but yeah, Shark in Hungary is able to stay ahead. You know, there's more opportunities to stay ahead. You know, there's not many overtaking opportunities.
And I don't really, and looking at the pace as well, as Mercury's picked up a penalty as well. Like I've seen another person getting the black and white flag next to their name, but Matty Banter's caught up to Gravity, So while DJ Danny's trying to get by Shark, Matty Banter's going to try and look at Gravity and try and get P6 off him. And Gravity's just kind of... He's been running his own race, but it's the same as... It's kind of the relationship he's had with... Like how Ham Jam, as they've really been keeping the pace with the front two. It's 4.1 seconds. Gravity's just been doing the same to the group of three in front. He's not really been keeping up, but he's just been running his own race. So Matt Banter is going to get him soon if he's not going to up the pace. And again, DJ Danny isn't quite close enough, but both Shark and Danny have closed up to this battle for P6 as well. So what became a two-man battle has became a four, as DJ Danny joins the back of the queue. And VCRL Shark is in this as well, so he's right at the back of Matt Banter again. And I don't think there's going to be any real moves into turns 8, 9, 10 and 11 in the second sector, but Victor McFly still kind of holding on to this battle between Connor and the Ham Jam for P3 as Connor as they buy him again, and Ham Jam is now 5.0 seconds off the top two, so it's kind of really starting to come into a two-horse race scenario here situation. The top two just kind of running flawless drives at the front and just gapping the field. Ham Jam still some solid pace. He is keeping Connor behind. Connor's not getting close enough in the sections where it really matters. Turns 1 and 4 are going to be the real overtaking opportunities for these drivers in these conditions, as well as the pit stops. I feel like maybe if Connor can't get past Ham Jam in the next few laps, we could see an undercut being played. So it really will just maybe be a matter of strategy if the drivers can't get it done on the track.
Connor then received 4 tenths behind Ham Jam. He's cut that gap by, I think, around 2-3 tenths there. So he's definitely honing in on the Mercedes here.
It's looking to me that Ham Jam is losing about 3-4 tenths a lap to the folk in front, to the Bruno Will and Davies in front. The front two is about 4 or 5 tenths a lap that he's losing to the front two, and that's where the gaps came from in the early stages. So it's a 5.7 second gap now. It was 5 at the start of the last lap, so maybe a bit more than that this time around. So Ham Jam still has some solid pace, but he's not quite got the pace of the front runners, as we see Connor with the big X through his name. I don't know if he's disconnected, but Victor McFly is right on his rear wing. Connor is lagging for me, Murray, as he has left the session, so we'll try and get him back in.
I will need to search him up. I haven't actually got him on offensive, so we'll have to see if we can get him in as quickly as possible.
And Victor McFly has made his way through ABR Connor into turn 1, as Matty Banter, Shark and DJ Danny are still continuing to put the pressure on Gravity here. Gravity really kind of showing a cool heat at this stage, as Afali is that decision as well. He has retired though, so he is no longer in the running for the race here at Hungaroring.
He'd ever get back in. He was having a good race.
He's definitely looking strong, Maldy. He's still in P5. He is dropping like a stone though because he's not here, but I definitely feel like if he can get back in and get his car back up and running before his teammate passes him, then that's going to be damage limitation for him, which will still be P5, but he is out of touching distance of Ham Jam and Victor McFly.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he's back in now, so that's a very solid debut, I would say, so far. Anyway, Rigsy, so yeah, there's not much really going on. The guys are following each other again. What would really actually expect the Hungarian Grand Prix? I think you can expect more battles for Belgium and Italy next week. That's going to be an incredible race, Belgium next week. I hope from most guys, but it's only about 12, Rigsy. So we can't, underestimate this. But what we can say now, Rigsy, is Danny, he's got his first opportunity now on the back of Shark in a slipstream. Shark's going to try and break that slipstream, but he can't do it as consistent by Sacco later. An incredible lap time there. Maybe Arcana. What a lap.
And it says that ABR Connor is in fact leading, but you'll see him just run here. He is in front of his teammate in P5. Gravity does just stay behind, and Jamham goes fastest, and he's actually made a pit stop. We've completely missed that. He's made a pit stop on lap 12 for a fresh set of inters, so I feel that's a bit early, but I think that's purely just on the basis of trying to give himself some undercut, some clear air, because he was at the back of the queue. He was right at the back of the queue, at the back. So he's probably just decided to jump into the pits, fresh set of inters, and get some clear track, and see if that can really kind of shoot him up the order. But we can only see what happens for there. I don't know if it might start a domino effect, or people just only going to come in and rush in anytime soon. So it's quite mixed. It's quite up in the air. I feel like I can go either which way. Yellow flags in the third though, Maldi. What's that flux quickly went to green, so we don't really know.
Does it say Connor's leading the Grand Prix?
It does so, aye. It says he's leading.
I think they must have broken the game even more. There's no way that he's leading. He's P5. Now it's confusing for us.
They don't like making our jobs easy, Maldi, that's all I'll say. They don't like making it easy for us.
I don't know. I don't like making it easy, and I don't like... Oh, but what I do like, Danny, what I do like is Danny was up inside Shark there, turn 4, I think. Turn 3, sorry. But no, we couldn't get it. He's still behind Shark. But what is really annoying me recently, the fact that Connor is still leading the race.
Connor back in the race now. I mean, the timing screen does say that he is leading the race, which we know is to be untrue. But now that he is back in the race, you can see on the minimap on the right hand side that he is starting to pull away from his teammate once again. So Connor, now that he's back in control of his car, definitely does have some pace that will break away for this pack for P6. As Shark's out of shape there on the exit of turn 12.
We've done his opportunity.
Gets out of shape. That so nearly could have been an incident. He's going to go up the inside. He's going to
go up the inside of the Williams, side by side, and out the inside. Oh, they made contact. Can he run the outside? Is he going to do it? It's on the better line. That's pretty good for the intermediate. We go then, Mercury. No, sorry. Slipstream for Danny then. Overtake mode up the inside, and that is P8.
Could have left his braking a bit late there.
I don't actually know what place Danny's in. P8 or P7?
He's, I think he's still P8. I think the top 5 are, I think Bruno Wildavies and Hamjam and Victor McFly are all meant to be up one, because Connor's still running 5th. I think. So DJ Danny up into P8. They really don't make the timing screens easy for us as commentators, Muddy. They like to give us a challenge as much as the drivers with the conditions, so they do like to just kind of throw that span on the works. But now that Danny's got past Shark, it means he can go and chase Matt. Now that he made a mistake through turn 9, he's definitely going to probably try and do more of the same into turn 1 again. Danny had to leave it late on the brakes and into turn 1 because it's the only way he's really going to make the move work. But I feel like he did kind of like lock up the slightest wee bit, which did allow his car to drift wide, and it kind of did compromise the exit, but it never lost on the position. So I don't think he'll be caring too much about the quality of exit. He'll just be caring about getting the place.
Yeah, definitely. So Danny then has cleared Shark, and now he's onto the back of Matty. This is quite special from our drive. He's having a decent amount of air at the moment.
And
Mercury's in the pits. He sets off intermediates for Mercury. Yeah, he's not had very good races in running out of but I'm not really say that he's running out of the top 10. It's ABR Bio 97. on the top 10. That's not what he wants, really.
Maldi, I don't know how much a disaster is going to be for the folks that have just recently pitted, but it's stopped raining.
Yes, but I think the track is not actually good. I reckon it's one of them things the track's not going to go out. You like Turkey.
So we could just be seeing we could potentially be seeing a longer stint on the intermediates in these adverse conditions as Ryan does get out of shape there through turn 12 in this train again for P6, Gravity, Banter, Danny and Shark. Indeed, Gravity's ran wide on the exit of the final turn. I don't know if that's for a better exit or that's just a genuine mistake, but Matty Banter's going to have a look, and Danny's lit up the wheels on the curb, and that's going to allow Shark to get a run.
Here we go.
Danny.
The track is trying out Brixie onto, yeah, I can't quote you on that, but Danny's going to go deep, but Shark's going to have a great exit. Here we go then. Overtake Matt's going to be around the outside of Gravity. Let's keep an eye on this Brixie around the outside. Oh, this is incredible.
And Gravity's just pitting his car everywhere it needs to be. Doing a stellar job at defending there through turns 1 and 2. Matty Banner's going to have to sit and wait again.
Look at the closing speed. Turn 4. That is insane.
I feel like it's a matter of if Matt can get past Gravity, I could definitely see Matt running into the distance and try and chase Connor.
Yeah, the track is definitely trying out.
It really might just be a matter of nursing the tyres just to the crossover period, but it definitely doesn't look dry enough for slicks at this point, and if it does, I think drivers will probably just jump onto the mediums to last to the end. They'll not be going soft. Softs are very delicate here, so we could see them on the mediums because it was the more conservative choice, and it will get them to the end. The soft tyres will blister and wear away.
Down the straight. It'd be interesting to see when DRS is enabled as well. That'd be very interesting.
Definitely. Is Matt again just so much better on the brakes? Gravity's just very tentative on the slow down of the car into some of these slow turns, but Matt again just getting a bit out of shape. Danny still in close company behind through turns 2 and 3. There we go. And Danny might maybe look for a move on Matt before Matt makes a move on Gravity, so it's really anybody's game in this midfield battle.
Definitely very good, and very good for Matt as well tomorrow, because Matt, obviously he's the closest to the championship. He's made him sit there on the curb. Yeah, Matt most likely will get promoted to Tier 1 next season.
Definitely, if he's showing pace to keep up with Gravity and Danny and everything else, and look like he's quicker than these two drivers in this train, then a seat in Division 1 might be beckoning for Matty Banter.
Yeah, I know it's only Hungary, but he's had a great season in Tier 2 so far. He's had a few incidences and had a few penalties, but pace-wise, he's definitely been up there in Tier 2. That's why he's President Championship.
Definitely showing us what he's got here in the altitude as the track continues to dry, and the main racing line definitely looks drier than what it was a few laps ago. We are still getting a good bit of spray being kicked up though by the tyres, so you can tell that it's not quite ready yet, but with the quickness that the track's drying out with, we could maybe see, I feel like we'll definitely see a change to dry tyres, but the question is going to be,
when?
Is it going to be when? When is it going to be mediums or is it going to be softs?
I don't think it's going to dry up as quickly as we think. But
I feel if it dries up, it's going to be near the end of the race.
Yeah.
Whereas it does look dry, but you can have these situations like you said, like it can be like Turkey in real life just a couple of days ago, that it could be a really wet track, it could be a really wet track but no raining, and it just doesn't dry up at all through the race distance.
Yeah, well, we'll have to hope so, because we did want a bit of road running. But Davison is looking strong here, really. So the gap now 1.4 seconds. He gained about 3 tenths. So he's looking pretty strong against this on the side.
The top two probably just swapping best lap times, as DJ Danny is closer to Matt this time around. Is he going to go for a late move on the brakes? He is not, but he gives Matt a tap. And Matt's getting out of shape. And Danny got looking run. I have no idea. He could potentially have some damage after that tap.
Yeah, we've got damage on the front right, I think. Is that damage, or am I the same thing?
I'll need to get a good clear view. I can't see it for the main broadcast camera. But we'll see how his pace is interfered with in the next few sectors, just to see if there is any real damage on board that Alfa Romeo. But that wee tap is definitely cost him both a bit of time there, as DJ Danny does get a bit of slide on through the chicane. And Matt again just kind of settling back in, back under Gravity's rear wing. Shark's still there in close company, and it's Italia, it's out of the race, and P16 is retired in the pit lane. VZ's picked up a penalty there, and yellow flags will be waved in the third sector.
Gravity's got down to 1.1 seconds, we've said. He's on pace now.
So Davison really starting to flourish in the drying conditions. As a yellow flags in sector 1, that is just for Italia's retired Alpha Tauri. But as you were saying, Maldi, Davison closing in.
He's not in the game anymore. He's an AR driver. Okay, Davison second now, losing the gap.
And he is 1.1 seconds behind. He is definitely closing. He's been improving over the last couple of laps, so he's definitely been the quicker of the two at the front.
Would it maybe be time for dries? I don't know. Bruno looks like he's struggling on those inters.
Definitely, I feel like Bruno will have this race under complete control in the wet, but now that it is drying, it's allowing Davison to just kind of creep in the back door and get himself into contention.
Yeah, sorry,
Maldi, I think we might...
Sorry, I keep going off, but I'm so... I love these conditions when the drivers have to decide whether they have to go on to, start inters, go to medium, softs. I just love it. But Connor is in the pit lane. Race leader.
Connor, the race leader, who is actually running P5, is in the pits. Gravity, Matty Banter, DJ Danny, all coming in. Victor. Shark's coming in. Janino's gone again. DRS enabled.
There you go. This could be big for Bruno, Will, and Davison. This could be a whole moment.
And the tyres look quite slow on the Renault there, and that means Matt does get out in front. Matt's jumped Gravity in the pits.
Let's see then. Let's see what the slicks are like here in Hungary. Quite slippery surface, isn't it, Rick? So it's difficult to form the tyres up.
Definitely, tyre temperatures are going to be freezing because the track temperature is actually quite cool because it's been raining. So it'll be a matter of trying to get...
Okay, Bruno Will and Davids in a rim.
And both of them in the pit lane, assumedly.
Davids lost a lot of time in the pit lane.
Oh. And Davison, he's took the lead because his garage is at the bottom of the pit lane compared to the Mercedes, so complete opposite ends there. But as you were saying...
Oh, the team
Stop, go.
The team were ready together.
And Davison, big killer blow there to any real opportunity there. Hamjam's in the pits as well. Davison's just coming out Victor McFly's in the pits, Janino's in the pits, Kevin's in the pits. Hamjam might lose out a lot here. Oh no, he's just came out the pit lane. So he's still in P3, but that means Connor is right up behind.
He's got rest for Danny now on the back of F1 Guarantee. There's all the drivers coming out of the pit lane. It's going to be whole Magnus coming out of the pit lane here. Matt's going to have to navigate through Billy now. But Danny's got that overtake done on Gravity there. So he's up to P7 now, I believe.
Yep.
If not P8. It's so confusing, because I don't actually know where Connor is. Is Connor in?
Connor's in P3 now. He's in the net podium because Hamjam and Victor McFly have lost out to him through that early undercut.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Hamjam's in. Oh, okay.
Yellow flags in sector.
I got it now. I can.
Yellow.
Sorry. That's Mercury.
That's fine.
Mercury's crashed it. Yeah. He's not. He's not going to be happy with that.
Mercury really just having one to forget here in the Hungaroring. This Hamjam is going to have Victor McFly for close company. Victor McFly is going to have the DRS, he's going to have the ERS taste, he's going to have energy and the flap on the rear wing open. Is he going to go for a late move into turn 1? He is not. He's getting quite close to the back of the Merc though, as Connor is just slowly eating the gap. He's slowly building the gap, sorry, and Victor McFly really kind of putting the pressure on Hamjam now that they're both on a set of medium tyres. Jamham's went and put the first lap of the race in as well in P12.
Had a bit of a moment. This is for P4, I believe.
I'm talking about moments in battles, Maldy. DJ Danny's right on the back of Matty Banter now that he's got past Gravity, so DJ Danny and Matty Banter really were just a matter of waiting to get past Gravity, and now both of them are in each other's air and each other's way as well, so that means that they're still building the gap as DJ Danny gets a bit of aggression on through the slide in turns 6 and 7, but DJ Danny looking to be quite punchy on these new medium tyres, so it might just be a matter of whether he's going to be able to get close enough to send one down the inside into turn 1 or even turn 4.
Right. So Davison now is responding. The team were not ready with his pit stop. Or he had to stop and go, and the team just couldn't be bothered to get out. But the point is Davison now has got to close in 6 temps. It's 10 laps. So he's got to close that gap.
And
the rest for Danny Ritchie. Down the pit straight.
DRS. Is he going to go up the inside? Up the inside, late move.
Oh, but Matt's going to try to defend it around the outside. That's actually a better line around here. It's going to be DRS for Danny, but Matt is going to keep it. We'll try and keep the position, but no, we can't get. So there you go. He's 6.
And it's P6 for the Alpha. Brilliant battle there, brilliant craftsmanship there for the Alpha to go for the late move on the inside. Guy's rivals space on the outside into the exit of turn 1, and just having DRS out of turn 2 was all the difference there. Better exit. DRS is enabled through sector 1 into turn 2, so I think it's really just been a matter of DJ Danny just getting a better all-round exit in straight line speed there, and that's why we've seen him jump up to P6. Yellow flags in sector 2 is for ABR Ryan. In sector 2 at turn 10.
Okay, spun it there, but the second one reset. Look at Mercury though, Riti, 54 seconds behind Ryan.
And Danny with the first lap there as well. And as you were saying, Maldy, Mercury and Billy WF really just at that stage now where they will probably need a safety car if they want anything to kind of fall into place. Yellow flags are in the 3rd, and I think that is just for that was just for the Williams slowing on the pit straight. But we're kind of back into that quiet stage of the race now that we've made some of the moves, and Victor McFly is just kind of creeping in and out of the DRS one day. between himself and Hamjam. And this is for P4.
I think Victor McFly is actually losing time. Hamjam at the moment. Bruno will look at 18.9. That was in can't respond. Bruno will again reset, showing he has got the pace in STB.
I think whatever happened to Davison in the pit lane has been a massive sigh of relief for Bruno Will, because Davison was putting pressure on late in the drying embers on the intermediates. So while it was drying quite rapidly, Davison was really excelling in the conditions, and Bruno Will was being a bit under pressure, under stress for that. So to have Davison 6.5 seconds down the road due to a mistake or a mishap in the pit lane, that's definitely going to alleviate any stress that he had get into this final stint.
Definitely. Victor McFarlane at 1.3 seconds, so yeah, he is losing time, makes sense. He is losing time. There's not really many overtakes here in Hungary, but you won't really expect many. You wouldn't expect any anyway, would you, in Hungary? Not many opportunities to overtake.
It's no really an overtaking track. Like, the only real opportunities for the wheel-to-wheel battles would be into turns 1, 2, 3 and 4. So anywhere in the first sector, really. Turn 12 at a push. That's really the only areas that we're going to see drivers challenging each other, maybe forcing mistakes. But it's not really a track built for overtaking. This track's more aligned to testing the car's like aerodynamics and downforce, grip, traction, and everything else. Like, in terms of aerodynamics and chassis, like it's no an engine circuit by any means. It's a track where like teams, like in real life, teams like Red Bull would excel. Like Red Bull and McLaren, who do work on their downforce more than anything else, really, and rather than the folks that work on their engines like Mercedes or like Ferrari.
Yeah.
So it really is just one of they kind of tracks, and it really is just it brings me a challenge. Like it is up there with the likes of like maybe no Monaco, but maybe a Singapore, because it is quite a narrow circuit as well. Like there's plenty of there's not a lot of room to like go side by side with some of these drivers for some of these turns. So it is all about playing the mind games, calculating your strategy in your mind just to see where's the best opportunity and how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. Ryan's went and spun. Well, he's no spun, but he's done really well to save it there. I was on board with him as he was chasing VZ, and he just clipped. He lit up the rears on the curb on the exit of turn 9, and it ended up with him on the grass on the other side, and then nearly getting thrown into a spin as well. But Maldi, I don't know about you, but I'm looking at the timing screens and I'm seeing just about nearly everybody in the field having a penalty of some capacity next to their name.
There's one driver with a lot as well. I reckon that's 3 weeks now. 15 seconds at the moment. I do love this penalty feature. I do love it.
It's definitely interesting because it means we don't need to keep up as much in the bottom left to see whose names came up, who's got what penalty, how many penalties, how many times have we seen their name, and we're just seeing Bruno's name pop up at the bottom screens there for fastest lap. And that was in with the fastest lap as well, so both of them just kind of trading purple lap times at the moment, but in the grand scheme of things, it isn't amounting to anything.
Victor McFarlane moves in to P4. The gap now is 1 second to 1.1. So I think if Victor McFly can, sort himself out of it, and we could maybe be on for a little battle here to P4 between Victor McFly and Hamjam.
It's really just going to be it's really just going to be Victor McFly having to get a really good final sector and get the DRS, and I think once the DRS kind of comes into play, Hamjam will have a problem.
Definitely. I think that the dirty are definitely going to be factors right in this battle, and Hamjam has not got a lot of ERS left as well. Look at that.
How much ERS has he got?
Got 18%, while Victor McFly has got 60. In the 60s. So,
oh, and talking about DRS as well, Maldy's got DRS, Victor McFly's got DRS down the pit straight, and he'll have it down to turn 2 as well, so Hamjam will need to try and conserve some ERS, and Victor McFly again will probably be getting close enough, and this is it now, Maldy. Victor McFly is in that range for an attack into one of these turns and try and maybe catch Hamjam out. It really will just be a matter of, as you were saying, the dirty air is going to play a big part through sectors 2 and 3, so it'll be interesting to see just how his car behaves in the dirty air, and if we can get close enough on the run down to turn 1 if they keep it clean.
Definitely, but rocking up there into the chicane. That chicane is actually very difficult to get right, but take the exact right line of why you go over the curb, and you lose around 3 tenths, 4 tenths. So you just spin over the curb.
It takes a lot to get it right.
Yeah,
it definitely does take a lot.
Launches you, and then you just you're gone, you're out. So, but anyway, here we go, Ridley. That 31 of the Grand Prix. Going on to that 31 for these guys. The DRS 55 could well be a very easy overtaking move. Janino has got the overtake done on Kevin there, but this is a battle now. Victor McFly and Hamjam very close to the wall. Victor McFly around the outside. Victor McFly's locked up a little bit there, Rizzo.
And Hamjam had a wee lock up the inside there, getting in the exit of turn 1 as well. There was enough of a gap there to at least have a look, but Hamjam just couldn't get on the throttle early enough to try and capitalise on Victor McFly taking a very narrow line into turn 1, which meant he had to kind of allow the car to run a bit wide. So Victor McFly kind of really, it was as if he got by, and instead of firmly closing the door, he kind of left it ajar so that Hamjam can maybe have another opportunity. But Victor McFly done really well to get a good exit and keep the place, and already he is looking to be building a gap.
Kevin Neville on the back of Janino now. PA.
Tucked up the inside. It's kind of laggy for me, but I can see Kevin right on the rear wing of Janino. Ferrari versus Red Bull in the second sector. Is he going to get close enough for a late move into 12? He is not. So I think everybody's racecraft's just going to say to them, be patient, turn 1 DRS, and I think that's what Kevin's just waiting for as he comes through the final turn. It is quite laggy for me, so I'll jump on board with Janino and just lock back. Kevin's internet looks to be a bit glitchy. I don't know if that's him or it's just me or whatever.
It's not really that glitchy for him. But obviously he's from Brazil, that might be.
It might just be for me.
You tired there, would you?
I'm sorry, mate. It's been a long day. Uni was a 10 o'clock start and I barely slept. I stayed up to 4 in the morning watching telly, and it was an error on my part.
That's not very good.
But what could be good enough though is Kevin is still getting closer to Janino, and Hamjam is no really deed and buried just yet, as he is keeping himself in the DRS with Victor McFly.
Oh, yes, he is. Yeah. Locking up into the banana corner, that's not going to help his tyres or his traction. Up now 9 tenths, have the rest down the pit straight.
He is crucially still going to have DRS. He's lost 3 tenths alone in that final turn.
He's out of DRS now.
To Victor McFly.
Well, then here we go. This is Kevin's second opportunity now. Get back past his fellow countryman, Janino. His esports teammate.
I don't think he looks too close. Juninho still has a good bit of ERS left in the tank, so Juninho really will probably have the upper hand in defending. While Kevin will have the DRS and his own battery, Juninho's going to still have a good bit of battery left to disperse on defence. He's not going to really use it anywhere else. He doesn't really need to use it anywhere else other than the exit at turn 14 and the exit at turn 1. I feel like that's where he's going to be put under the most pressure. And it really is just going to be, it looks to be a final lap showdown between Kevin and Juninho. Hamjam is just outside the DRS range, so we might maybe see him just jump back in. I don't know if we will though, as Bruno Will is already on the final voyage round the Hungaroring, as he is the leader. The timing sheets they say Connor,
So
but that
unlucky
is due to a glitch.
That's so unlucky for Davizin. With that pit.
It's really just been a proper gut punch for the Brazilian in the Williams. He was really looking quick at the later stages of the drying conditions, and I feel like he would have probably gave Bruno Will a good run for his money as well. So he's picked up a penalty for somewhere, so I don't know where he's picked it up, but it looks to be he'll still be getting P2 at the very best. But we're on board with Bruno Will, Maldi, as he comes out the penultimate turn to take the checkered flag after 35 hard racing laps here at the Hungaroring. It is Bruno Will, as you rightly said, to win here in Hungary in changing conditions. It does they come up and say that though, because Connor still is the leader, but it is Bruno Will that does take the checkered flag. Davison does take P2, and it is going to be Connor that takes the podium. Don't let the leaderboards deceive you. Is it? Wait, is it? Is it going to see how Victor McFly, does he stay P4? He does, right, no, that's fine. Hamjam does stay P5. DJ Danny, solid racing P6. He did pull away from that once he goes from clear air. Solid 6th place for DJ Danny in the Alpha, 8 points. Matty Banter, as you were saying, a strong race for him, and he will have Division 2 to deal with tomorrow as well, so this is a good staple for him. But penalties push him back as Juninho and Kevin push themselves up, and Jamham gets himself into the points. The only point in P10, and then pushes Ryan and Vizio. And Gravity's doing a 30-point turn and then a retirement.
We're going to have to wait for Bruno to come back round the... Apparently he was a minute and 2 off, apparently.
A minute and 2.5. And he gets the fastest lap there at the end, 16.9. And Dowson does take P2. Even though it does say Bruno Will takes P2, that is a lie. But it is Juninho that gets the game's driver of the day. Strong drive for the Red Bull driver.
Who would
you say was you?
I would say Bruno Will. An absolutely incredible performance, another victory. Yeah, just a stellar drive from Bruno Will.
I think I'd give to Bruno Will too, but I will give a notable shout out to Victor McFly for a strong 4th.
Definitely. We won't actually be able to
for
interview
a strong
him.
4th place.
The job we'll be able to interview, I think, is Connor, and we'll maybe try and get Danny in. Maybe Hamjam as well, as there was... Excuse me, as Bruno Will, Davidson and Victor McFly unfortunately can't... Well, Bruno Will, Davidson unfortunately can't speak English, I don't think. So, we'll be able to interview Connor, who apparently won, but it was Bruno Will that won here in Hungary. 2nd is Davidson. 3rd was Connor. 4th, Victor McFly. 5th, Hamjam. 6th, DJ Danny. 7th, Juninho. 8th, Kevin. 9th, Matt McBath after his penalties. 10th, Jam Hampton's point display from the Haas. 11th, ABR Ryan. 12th, BC. 13th, Gravity. 14th, Billy. 15th, Mercury. 16th, Shark. 17th, Ale Italia. And 18th is off Ale. So we're going to speak then to ABR Connor first on this debut. Connor, if you'd like to include your audio, I'm going to give you a quick question. Connor, your debut, bit of a glitch where it said you won. How does it feel to have won your debut race? That must be an incredible feeling.
Well, I didn't necessarily win it. I finished third, but it just said I won because of the disconnection I had. But it's a bit unfortunate, really.
On a serious note, podium in Hungary. Explain us through your race how the if the disconnection affected you in any way.
Yeah, I probably lost like 10 seconds from getting disconnected, but I think my race went pretty well, to be fair.
Okay. Danny's in. Hello. I will try and speak as slowly as I can if you can't understand. But Danny's in. P2 here in Hungary. Explain what happened in the pit lane. Yeah, you seem very quick before the pit stop. Well, obrigado, thank you, and good luck in Belgium. Obrigado. Okay, we're going to go now to Hamjam. I believe you was fifth, Hamjam. Take us through your battle with Victor McFly. It was a very intense one near the end of the race.
Yeah, it was a really good battle. I got held up slightly in the pits, although that didn't particularly matter too much in the end. Unfortunately, my tyres overheated, my front left, even on the mediums, which was surprising. So it meant that I was basically just trying to keep Victor McFly behind for as long as possible. But I knew once he got into my DRS, he'd get me pretty easily. But I was having to drive pretty cautiously to the tyre wasn't overheating too much. So no, he drove a very good race, and he deserves to finish wherever he does, fourth or third, whatever happens with the Connor thing. But yeah, personal point of view, not a bad race considering. I thought my pace in the wet was pretty good. Wouldn't really have minded if it stayed wet throughout, but we'll take another solid point finish.
Okay, thank you, Hamjam, and we'll see you
Cheers,
next
guys.
week. Sorry about that. Yeah, we'll see Hamjam at Spa. Danny, P6 today, pretty solid performance. It was raining that you wanted in the race. Talk us through your feelings at the start of the race and how you felt about it raining. You must have been very happy.
I was, and then I got stuck. I think I had very good pace in the wet. It's a shame that the nature of the track just means that there's only really two places to overtake, and I couldn't get past until we went on stride, ironically. And so I had decent pace, and I'll take P6. I feel like if I wasn't held up, I maybe could have caught that Hamjam Victor McFly pack. Because I got them up by about 4 or 5 seconds after I got past Matt and Gravity. So I feel like if that gap was a bit smaller, it could have been a bit more attainable to catch them up. But it was an enjoyable race, and 6th place, good points for Alfa Romeo. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay, thank you, Danny. Thank you, Rigsy, for joining me in the commentary box here this evening for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Thank you everyone that has watched here this evening. A great race again for Britney Will, extending his gap at the top of Drivers' Championship, but we still have many races to go. Do join us next week for the Tier 1 Belgian Grand Prix, where we go to the infamous Spa-Francorchamps circuit. But if you want to join us for Tier 2, we have the Tier 2 Hungarian Grand Prix tomorrow, brought to you by Mercury and the one and only DJ Danny. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Tier Hungarian Grand Prix. But if not, we'll see you next week for Tier 1 Belgium. We'll see you then.